Hi guys. Today we're going to do a few different tools in combination to create custom shapes and then color them with the gradient tool. So you'll want to go to File, New, and let's make a custom canvas size so we can practice this. So put in, put in 10 inches by 10 inches. Let's make the resolution 180, so it's a little bit of a lower resolution, but it's a larger file. Make it to CMYK color, as if you're going to print it. RGB is for web or screen color, and CMYK is for print. So it just translates the colors a little bit differently, but they should look about the same on the screen. Keep the background contents white. Actually, let's stick with white. I'm going to call it blobby blobs because I'm going to make some blobs. So create. All right, so I have this square canvas, CMYK. We'll go over saving the file in different ways. I think that's important too, understanding JPEG versus PSD and some of the other file options. So this is our last, hopefully our last tutorial in Photoshop where we don't need a tablet. I want to get started on the tablet soon. But this one you can do just fine with a mouse. So what we're going to do is go over here to the pen tool. We'll spend more time probably using the pen tool in Illustrator because it just has more versatility with that, but there's a lot you can do with Photoshop too. So click on the pen tool. And you're just going to I want you to make kind of like rounded looking shapes. There's a couple ways to do that. So you start with a dot and just click, then click somewhere else and pull, drag like we did this once before, or I showed you how to do this once before. The anchor points out here, they determine the curvature. So then I can go over here. Every time I click and I drag a little bit. So I can make all kinds of curves. So maybe I'll make something that looks kind of like a creature. If I want to kind of start a new curve, I click right here and it removes, well, it's a little different than Illustrator. Okay, I'm not used to this in Photoshop. I'm going to make a little, creature guy here. So, okay. We have, see, I don't like that. So I'm Control Z, click on it. Still don't like it. Maybe I can, no, Control Z. I'm gonna do that again. It's not really exactly how I want, but it'll do. So the more that I drag out, the more extreme that angle might end up looking. So I'm just going to go down here, making this back leg, and then I have to click on my starting point to close the shape. All right, so I have a little kind of a polar bearish looking creature. Right now, this is nothing except kind of a mathematical line that connects to itself that's defined by curvatures that I made, but it doesn't do anything. So I have to right click on it. I'm going to say make selection. Okay. I'm not going to do anything with it except to say okay. So now I have this dotty line. Then I'm going to right click on it again and say, nope, I'm not going to do that right now because it won't let me. So anyway, I have this shape and I want to fill it, but I don't want to fill it with a solid color. I want to fill it with a gradient. So over here, you see the gradient tool. It's where the paint bucket tool is, but it's the one on top. Your gradient is determined by the two color swatches that you have over here, down here on the left. So I like this. I like these colors. I'm just going to make this one a little lighter. I could also choose colors from my swatches on the right, upper right up here, but I'm just going to manually do them here. So this one, I want a little stronger. Not too much. Okay. And then I'm on gradient tool still. Then I'm going to click and drag across. And now my shape is filled with the gradient that I wanted. So I've got it. Oh, if I move it, it actually cuts it. It cuts it out, almost like I just cut out a shape from a white piece of paper. The reason why the under shape there is kind of that magenta is because my background color is defined as this magenta color. So if you Control Z, and then I go and I change that to say a darker color, see what happens. It's darker underneath. So do that. Do what I just did. Make your own shape. But then you can do things with that selection. I can, what I wanted to do before, well, I can just set it where it is. I want to make a new shape from it. New layer from layer via cut, because I just had it already selected, so I can cut it. Now it's on a new layer. So let me just go over that one more time so you can see it's a little tricky. I'm doing Control Alt Z. So it's still in the same layer. You can tell over here on the right. But when I go up to layer, new, layer via cut. If I did layer via copy, I would have the same thing. And then there's a copy, another layer with just that. But I just wanted to do layer via cut. So new layer via cut. That's really, really important. You'll end up using this all the time if you use Photoshop, making new layers from selections. So there I have it. I think that's probably enough for right now. So practice making the shapes. Actually, no, I'm going to show one more thing just to kind of solidify the pen tool idea. Let's make a new layer. And we'll go back to pen tool. I'm going to hide that one. I don't want to see it right now because it's distracting. I'm even going to hide this. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it on there. I'll make a small, okay, using my pen tool, but I'm going to go down to curvature pen tool. This is a weird one that Photoshop added. It just automatically makes things curved, but you can do it. It's not as easy to control, but you just click anywhere, and it's, depending on where you click, it's going to make a curvy shape. Then you can convert the anchor point tools down here, this little arrow thingy, to make them pointy. This takes a lot of practice to make it intuitive. It is not an intuitive tool. Don't let it frustrate you. Because when you start using a tablet and you use Illustrator, it's going to get easier. Okay, so I've got that shape that I made using these other pen tool options. Maybe play with them a little bit. You can actually delete anchor points by this delete tool. Now I have fewer anchor points there, or I can add an anchor point somewhere on that in the line anywhere I want. And then I can move things around at will with my pen tool again. Woo, I can change the angles of things. Okay, anyway, I have this other shape here. Right click, let's make selection. Okay, there we have it. Okay, we've got our squiggly line again. We can fill it with a different, let's do another gradient. I'm gonna do, I like these really pinky colors. I'm gonna do some blue this time too. No, pink is good. Okay, now on the bottom, I'll do blue. Okay, that's fun. I like that. Okay, so now I've got, it's not as blue as I was thinking. Okay, there we go. So gradient, dragging it across. Now the direction you drag also will affect the gradient, and this will be good for understanding, like if you want to like say something that looks like it's almost sunrisey, well, you would want the lightest color probably on the bottom. So I'm gonna just see, every direction matters. Even the like if I do a short one, that changes it. If I do a really long one, that changes it too. So it's a fun tool. Just do that. Okay, and then go up to layer, new, layer via cut. And then I have this, so I could just move it around. Okay, now let's save our file. Okay, so file, save as. It's got a few layers. So I'll just, wherever you're saving your files, go to downloads. Yeah. No, I'll go to graphic design and illustration. I've got blobby blobs, and I don't want to save it as a PSD right now. Yes, first I'll save it as a PSD, because that way if I want to change anything, I can. But then I want to go to save as. I'm going to do another copy. I'm going to save it as a JPEG, and that's going to be a totally flat image that cannot be moved, or like it can't be really altered. I mean, like I can't alter the layers individually. It's going to be just one layer. So save it. Let's save it as a large file. Say OK. All right. So it just has a PSD open, but there's a JPEG somewhere too. So that is everything for today.